Namaste. Blessings and welcome. Good day to you, beautiful community. It is always such a gift, such a beautiful gift to be with you here. I am Tuesday Mae Thomas, and this is my weekly live stream, 4D Trinity. At 4D Trinity, we bridge mind, body, emotions with spirit. Spirit being the truth of you, the truth of all truths, love, all that is rooted in love, all that is rooted in love about you, your relationship to the love within you, and how to calibrate it in your mind, in your body, in your emotions, so that that trinity of mind, body, and emotions can become aligned with the truth in your spirit, with the truth in your heart. And when you do that, when that level of alignment is activated, there is no stopping you. You know why? Because for the most part, the you that gets in the way is allowed a space to step out of the way. When we give rise and give way to love leading the way, there is less and less room for the version of ourselves with the small s, the version of ourselves that is filled with self-doubt, addictive, harmful patterning, toxic projections and judgments. All of that stuff starts to leave. It starts to be released as we continue on this path of spiritual growth, of self-love, of enlightenment, of kindness, of practicing compassion, forgiveness, and treating ourselves well, exploring and expanding our definitions of what that actually means to us. And ultimately, there is a seed of you, there is a truth of you within every cell, within every atom of your being. In your soul, there is a soul truth that you have come into this body in this lifetime to expand, to embody, to practice, and to set an example of that for yourselves and others. So what is it? Who are you? Who are you right now? And are you being the full truth of you? Are there areas in life that you can release that are blocking that flow of love, that are blocking that flow of your ability to see with your full glory the truth of you, the beautiful butterfly of you with those expanded wings of various colors? How wide can you allow your wings to expand? This is what it's all about: expansion, expansion, and embodiment in 2019. Again, to the degree that we are able and capable to let love in, first and foremost from ourselves to ourselves, is the degree that we will be met with that. And we're learning this. We're learning what that means to us individually and collectively. So welcome, everyone. Again, I'm so thrilled as always to have you here. There's always more and more subscribers, and I welcome you and I bless you. May every single video, every little offering, every large offering that I have here at this channel truly serve your path of spiritual growth and spiritual sovereignty, your ability to be free, to be in the world and not of it, here at 4D Trinity and within many of the messages that I share in my videos and teachings. It's all about aligning with love, aligning with truth, and practicing self-mastery, being a master of your mind, being a master of your mouth, and understanding the value of the currency, the palpable, potent direction that you give your life when you are turned on, paying attention, being a conscious co-creator of your experience, and understanding that you have an infinite more choices and variety of ways to see things, to experience things, people, places, things, all things. Food, money, relationships, sex, your career, friendships, nature, all of it, everything you can think of. There's more. When we add in love, when we welcome in greater love, we practice greater love within ourselves and extend it to others, love begins to light up avenues and pathways, domains, dominions, dimensions that surpass those that we can conjure and imagine in our mind. We love imagination. It is a muscle, the imagination. Yet still, because it is rooted in the mind, it takes us only so far. Yet, we are invited to the practice to continue expanding, coloring outside the lines, expanding our visions of self, letting ourselves grow bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's what this 2019 is all about, is that the universe is ready and waiting to give you more, to match you more in your authentic truth, alignment, and divinity, majesty. Now, how ready are you to receive it? We might say, I'm ready right now. Yet, are we doing the work, the energetic work that clears the harvest, it clears the field of all those aspects and things that could be in our view, in our field, that are blocking that love from coming in, that are blocking that love from coming out? And we're going to just be meandering and merging with these ideas today, because it is time. If you're watching this show, it is time. You are ready. No more excuses, no more procrastination, no more lazy patterning. And you know what I mean, right? In those areas where you're ready to let go of those toxic friendships, those toxic relationships. And maybe you're the one who's been bringing the toxicity. Maybe it's time for you to suck it up and be like, you know what? I've been bringing some weird juju to the situation. Let me just take responsibility for this, sweep all this up, put it in a bubble of light, and bless it. Forgive myself, forgive others, let it go, and start a new moment. Because all there is the now. Again, we master our mind, we master our mouth, and we configure the thoughts that we think, the space that we hold in our mind frame with how we use our tongue to cultivate our experience of time metaphysically, multidimensionally in this universe and in all of the universes you can imagine, all dimensions, all time and space. In your one vehicle of self, you determine, you drive. And maybe this is a new concept for you. Well, welcome to it, right? Because we know that only we do it for ourselves. We know that only we are truly responsible. Every single thing you experience outside of yourself, when you turn on the TV, when you turn on the radio, when you walk down the street, when you go to the grocery store, when you go to the bank, every single thing in your work, in your career, at the shoe store, wherever you are, it is showing you you. Period. We live in a holographic universe. There's a part of you within everyone, and there's a part of everyone inside of you. We are all one. In this 3D, the binary that we call it here, in the teachings we share here, it's all about separation and the space in between. And what's happening is, as we bridge heaven on earth through our consciousness, through choosing love over and over and over again, strengthening our spiritual will, we come into attunement and alignment with 4D consciousness, with that which is trinary, where we go beyond a love versus fear, polarized, dualized sense of consciousness, sense of choice, and we realize there's another choice. There's actually an infinite amount of choices rooted in love. But we've been so trained and conditioned and used to this juxtaposition of love versus fear, and really of judging, of polarizing this reality. And what we do here at this channel, what the divine guides that channel through me invite me and you, all of us too, is to allow ourselves to turn again, to see things anew, to see things in a different way through the lenses of love. Well, how do we do that? We cultivate the correct conditions, as you know, right? We meditate first and foremost. We meditate, we are disciplined. We are mindful, we pay attention, and we start to check ourselves when we are being judgmental, when we are being unforgiving, when we are projecting something from our ex onto this new lovely person that might be wanting to entertain our fancy. We start to check our awarenesses, and then we reconfigure, we rewire in alignment with love, in alignment with light, in alignment with the truth. If you really want a relationship, but you're still bummed out over your ex because they betrayed you, and now you're afraid, like a dog that's been kicked, and now you cower every time someone reaches out to you. Well, you're wearing that vibration. So when you show up, even though you think you want love and you feel like you're ready for love, if you're still projecting your pain and you haven't forgiven and completely cleared the slate with your ex from the past, you're projecting that onto this new potential lovely person that you could have some fun with, or maybe even explore love with. And you're going to bring that into the bed. You're going to bring that onto the table. You're going to bring that into the relationship. And so what we're doing is we're learning to pay attention to the way that these little things carry over, these little carry-on baggages, emotional and mental carry-on, right? We begin to pay attention to how they carry through with us and how we keep them alive through our tongue. We conduct time through our tongue. We learn this, right, in self-mastery. And I'm so excited. In this next year, I'm going to be creating all sorts of online little mini courses for those of you that are guided to like get into this stuff even deeper and really learn how to work it within yourself, because only you can do it for yourself, right? And so we learn how to pay attention to what we're bringing to the table. And we realize, does this overlay that I'm placing here really match what I really want, what I really desire? And if your desire is pure of like, I just really want a loving, fun, monogamous, passionate, romantic relationship, well, honey, you're going to put out that fire if you're being, bringing on all your old pain into the new moment. So it's like that with finances. It's like that with jobs. It's like that with career. It's like that with every aspect in life. So as we go into 2019, and you know this, if you watch my weekly tarot, I'll put a playlist up here later, that this is what we've been doing. We've been decoding and making really conscious choices of those things that we are no longer taking with us, right? If you can imagine that 2019 is like a big airplane, it's a jumbo jet, baby. And it's ready to take off and to take you to new shores. And so all the bags that you want to take with you, all your beautiful outfits, your shoes, maybe your computer gear, I don't know what kind of a person you are, right? But all the things that you can imagine that are important to you, that you'd want to travel with to these new shores. Well, check yourself, check your baggage as you check it in. We're only allowed, right, when you travel, if you've traveled anywhere or internationally, especially, there's only so many pounds or kilograms generally that you will be allowed to carry on with you, or even to check in, unless they're going to be like, well, we got to charge you. And you know that you'll be charged extra for the extra stuff you carry into 2019. So honey, might as well do the work now. Go through that baggage and really like, okay, oh, well, I don't need that old belief system. That is actually so 2015. Oh my God. Okay, well, it was serving me. But now we're going into 2019 and this timeline and this configuration of time that we know time doesn't really exist. But while we're in a body in the 3D, let's work with time. Let's work it into our favor. And so let me check myself and be real honest. Who am I bringing in this bag with me? Sometimes it's time to burn those old letters, to just rip apart those old pictures. Why are you holding on to something if it still causes you pain? Or why are you holding on to something if you know someone's energy is coming into you via that crystal or via that, that little gem? But you have an attachment to the crystal or to the gem, even though there's weird or negative, odd, questionable juju coming in via a questionable person through this item that they gave you, but you're attached to this 3D item. It's time. Bump it up, master up, to pay attention and to clear your baggage. Because it's like that plane is only going to take you as far, as light as your baggage is. So we're clearing the slate. What is your true calling in 2019? What is your true calling in 2019? This is time to grow bigger. I know last week's 4DT, I had a lot of little bits of information, and I was talking about this idea. We think about the sacred geometry and these Merkabahs, or even I was speaking with a dear one in Europe last week, and she was saying, remember I was saying last week in 4DT how I was like, just like allow yourself to imagine that your Merkabah is massive, that you're not this being sort of like squeezed into this chariot. Oh my gosh. God is calling on the cell phone. Hello? Yes, God. Totally. We're all about it. We're all about it this morning. God says, hi, everyone. Ah, blessings, Paloma. Thank you for joining again. Yes, absolutely. Okay. I have that here. God wants us to do this little worksheet. Spiritual growth. I would love that. Yes. You want me to just read right from the book? Okay. Fantastic. It's totally in alignment with what we're doing. I love that. Okay, blessings, dear God. Namaste. God says namaste, everyone. Well, isn't that interesting? God very rarely calls on the cell phone. Where is this book? Okay, spiritual growth. So we're going to get into this here shortly because today's going to be a little bit of a shorter one. My dear sister is flying in for the holidays, and so I got to go pick her up from the airport. I'm very excited to have her here. Maybe we'll get her on the show one day. She's a genius, and I love her very much. So where are we going with this? We're going into exploring who you are. Oh yeah, so let me just finish this point before we read through what the God found, what God was inviting us to explore. So I'm having this, right, we're imagining that that the Merkaba, that the chariot, that the geometry that we reside in these dimensions, that it's actually that it can be spacious. Anytime we might see a picture of a human form inside of a Merkaba, the two tetrahedrons, it's like their toes are peeking out, or they're like kind of squeezed in right at the edges. And I get that. There's this geometric teaching, right, of where the lines cross. Yet those lines, those ley lines, those grid lines, those energy matrices are changing. We are changing them. We are them. And so the invitation here, if you watch this show, if it resonates, is to expand and to allow. And it's like, so this dear one in Europe that I was having a conversation with was saying that her teacher was telling her not to use the bubble of light anymore because it's too confining. And I says, well, it really perplexed me because I can't, because again, this idea of like these Merkabas and these geometries, these shapes of being confining. And I says, well, that's very interesting. And I honor that. Yet there's this aspect of like, why are we even thinking that we have to be squeezed into a bubble anyway? Why does it have to be that close? Like a tight belt? It doesn't. So we get to rewire that configuration of how we even imagine ourselves and the work that we do energetically in the invisible worlds. So like, let's get over this, like, my bubble's only so big. Honey, make your bubble of light as big as you want it. This is what I'm talking about, these old paradigms that we think that we can be in agreement with. Follow me on Instagram. My links and everything should be down below. If not, I'll come back and put it later, but I'm pretty sure my links are down below. I even just posted something today, and I'm not going to get sidetracked into it, but we get so, and it's not bad and it's not wrong. It's just that change is here. And if you should have it, if you should resonate with it, if you are guided to expand and to explore who you are in greater spaciousness in 2019, in now, really, right? And beyond through this next beautiful new year that we're being blessed with. You have to take up more space. You have to get comfortable. Yes, you have to. I know I don't like usually generally saying you need to or you have to, but the invitation and what they told me, you know, sometimes the guides give us a little spanking. They're like, come on, you know, but they're like, you have to get used to being bigger. Energetically, you have to be used to taking up more space, my friends. And that's what they told me. And I was like, shit, you know what? You're totally right. And not that we have to like regret, get down on ourselves, be hard on ourselves, and why wasn't I ready to grow up and hold more space sooner? No. Remember, time doesn't exist. It's all now. And the moment that those words of divine guidance come, whether they're through me, through your own angels, your guides, your tarot cards, or however you do it, in your own meditations, through nature, whispering, right? Divine wisdoms, however they come, when they come, if you're ready and you get it and ready for them to click, they will click through you. They will activate through you. And wherever that's ready for you to calibrate and for that to make sense to your body mind, it will. And all of a sudden, the space between your atoms seemingly begins to come larger. Your sense of time and space become broadened. Your ability to receive more good becomes expanded because you're listening. It's all about listening. to your higher self. It's all about creating the correct conditions to listen. Everything. Master, I'm speaking to you. All masters. Even if you feel like you're still a baby master, right? We're all baby masters. Any proper master will tell you we're all baby masters, right? But we're learning mastery. We're learning self-mastery. And it's all about love at its root, and our capacity to honor love, to serve love, to let ourselves to be served by love is all about getting quiet enough that we can listen to love, because love speaks through your higher self. Love is the voice of your higher self. You know, and when we honor that and we do, and we're like, oh, let me check myself, let me pay attention. There is a nicer way that I could be in this situation. I can actually, as my higher self, I know my higher self would actually extend in greater kindness here, or I would have more patience. So higher self, help me. Like I've told you before, anytime I can't find the keys or anytime I need help somewhere, I'm like, my old stuff is coming up, or I want to, and I know I'm like, oh shit, hold your tongue. What would higher self do? You know, higher self, help me. And higher self just like gives you that calm, or it creates a sacred space where you're like not in such a rush to say the things that are on the tip of your tongue that perhaps maybe wouldn't serve the highest ideal at that time and space. Higher self will do everything for you. And it's already you. It's the higher you. And so we allow it in. We allow that space. So allow your bubble. If you see yourself in a ring of light or a bubble of light, and I know one of the main exercises I share with a lot of early students at the early part of my sharing with them is just to envision a radius of light, to draw one around yourself, at least 3-foot radius around you, so that as you go through your day, you're surrounded by this radius of light. You are in the center of that. And it blazes, you know, a ring of light everywhere you go. And so nothing that is not in alignment with that light can enter it. And it's really a beautiful, powerful beginner's mind kind of an exercise. And as we grow and as we master up and we seek for greater growth and enlightenment, as we're on a sincere path of that, then we expand that radius out and out and out and out and out. Just like last week in our talk on the crystalline tube, that tube becomes larger and larger and larger and larger. And ultimately, there's less you there. There's less of you there. And there's more love. And the less of you there is the lesser degree of self that is the tar body, that is the doubt, that is the destructive qualities, that is the patterns, the toxic, all the stuff. And we don't judge it. And there's levels and there's layers and there's stages. And it doesn't matter where someone else is at or where you think you're at and you should be further ahead. No, it's all perfect. So take a breath, chill out, get your tea, and I'm going to read for you. So God wants us to read from this book, Spiritual Growth, channeled by Sanaya Roman. It's an Oren book. And there's a whole bunch of them. And I've read them for years over my spiritual growth. And actually, I will say that this book, just like that Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life book, I had it for, I mean, since I was a kid. Since I was a kid. What year was this even published? I feel like I've been reading this book since I was maybe 18, which would be almost 30 years ago. But is it true? Is it true in the 3D? When was this actually published? 87. Yep. It could be very possibly true. So I carried this book with me and read it over and over and over from like I was saying, probably somewhere between 16 and 18 years old, which is right around when this book was published, interestingly enough. And I was living in Ireland, and I just carried it and I highlighted it and I wrote notes and I photocopied pages and stuck them on the wall. This was my Bible for years and years and years. And again, the very, very first, the test apprentice that the universe brought into my domain, who was and is a very dear friend still, but it was this test plane where I was ready to work with an apprentice as a master. But it ended up that she didn't end up being the one, but we were going through a test run together and we got what we needed from it. And it's all love. There was no weird anything at all. It's just, it's beautiful. And it was a beautiful, like a little growth cycle. But I remember I was still using this book, and I was in my 30s. So I must have been with this book up to almost whatever, 20, whatever years. And I gave it to her. And it had come apart so bad. I had this big green tape across it, and there was pages taped together. Anyway, I encourage you, if it resonates, Spiritual Growth, Sonaya Roman. They're only like $12 or $13 at Barnes and Noble if you still have a bookstore. And perhaps, I'm sure they're available online. This one came back to me through another lady who had a stack of books, and she said, "Oh, I'm giving all these books away to the Goodwill or whatever. Do you want one?" And I saw it, and I was like, "Oh, no, you didn't, universe. Oh, yes." And it's like, it comes back full circle. Anyway, I'm very excited, and I'll have to come and put a link later, because earlier this year we did a session, a 4DT called Spiritual Growth Part 1, where we did some beautiful meditations and work from this book. So I just encourage you, if we're always looking for books, and I'm excited to keep writing my books so I can give you more and more offerings. So this is interesting. God wants us to read from this chapter that's called Accelerating Your Growth. And really that's what it's about, right? This expansion, expanding your bubble, expanding your sense of self, becoming bigger in your thoughts and your words of how you feel about yourself, of how excited you allow yourself to get about your visions, your creations, your potential and possibilities, and your beautiful, majestic, magical, miraculous life. So we're just gonna read here. Growth never ends, for when you reach higher levels, there are still further levels to go. Without growth, there is a contraction of life force energy. And we know that with growth, there is that expansion, like we were talking about in the crystalline tube last week. There's greater love, right? Growth never ends. For even when you reach higher levels, there are still further levels to go. And my friends, we know, with like, what's up with all this love stuff? Well, we know, or we're coming into this alignment with this sense of knowing, of getting it, of understanding, of resonating with this idea that love just keeps expanding. And there's no end to love, because love is the truth. Love is eternal. Love is not bound by time and space, by our minds, by our words even. We set love free. We set it in motion with our thoughts and words. And to the extent then of the expansion of our mind and our mouth allows it in, creates the funnel, the tunnel through which that love can meet us. And that's why we're invited always here with these teachings, is to expand and exercise our ability to channel our higher selves, to bring about the correct conditions for absolute sovereignty, for freedom from the binds that hold us back. If you are just joining us, please drop a little hello or a hi or a how you doing or whatever serves you in the comment box. I would be so grateful. We're going to do a little bit of reading, and then we're going to talk about a worksheet that I'm going to invite you to subscribe to. And then we're going to do a meditation, and we're going to finish up this morning. This is very interesting though. So we're going to keep reading here from Accelerating Your Growth. So again, just chill out and allow these words to wash over you. Because remember, your true calling in 2019, for you to really live it and experience it maximally, means growth, means healing. Again, what do you get to leave behind from that carry-on luggage of this beautiful jumbo jet that's taking off? It's just for you to take off in 2019. How much do you desire growth? To intensify your desire to grow, ask your higher self to show you how your life will become even better as you grow spiritually. Let's take a moment and do that. Take a breath in and out. Because remember, your higher self is always with you. And all you have to do is consciously intend to connect with higher self, to strengthen that cord of connection, to strengthen your ability to listen. So now take a moment to connect with your higher self and know that it is done now. As you're guided, ask your higher self to show you how your life will become even better in 2019 as you grow spiritually. Place that question and just allow for a moment. What feelings, what visions, what comes now? Can you receive it? Are you ready to receive it? We'll continue reading. Some people think that growing spiritually means you have to give up all the things you love doing. Instead, imagine that the more you grow, the more joyful and peaceful your life will become. You will be even more in touch with the stable, balanced, and calm inner part of yourself. You will be doing things you love and carrying out your higher purpose with a sense of deep inner satisfaction. At a certain level of evolution, desire disappears and you just are. You don't desire, you don't want anything, and you are not in a state of having and not having. Until you reach that level, use desire as the tool it is. So remember, again, I'll come back and I'll put a little link up later. We did a 4D Trinity, I don't know, last month, maybe a couple months ago, about desire. And we spoke a lot about the difference between pure desire, that being the truth in your heart, the truth that drives you from here, right? Versus the wanting, needing, controlling desire of those aspects that our mind thinks we need in order to be happy, right? The treasure map is in your heart always. And it's that pure desire that your higher self is always whispering to you, right? Are we listening? Are we creating the correct conditions to listen? It's that pure desire that's inviting us in 2019 to grow. You have desire for a reason so that you can desire your spiritual growth and thus be your higher self. Want your growth so much that it becomes an all-pervasive thought. For the more you desire it, the more you bring a spiritual orientation to everything you do, and the more rapidly you reach enlightenment. So isn't this interesting? If we think about this, right, in embodying, right, what is your true calling in 2019? What God, love, through the God phone is offering through so far what we're reading here is, yes, there are goals, there are plans, right? There are aspirations, aspects that we would love to attain, that we know, that we see ourselves in. Yet, this is bringing it back to doing the work on ourselves first, to aligning our desire, not just with the stuff, with the things, with those goals, but being our higher self to the highest degree that we can, starting now. And allowing that path of developing that relationship, that communion with higher self, with love, with source, to cultivate the correct conditions for your enlightenment. And ultimately, your true calling, the pure desire stuff within you that gets you excited, that gives you tingles, that guides your divine path miraculously, is you in your enlightened state. So wrap yourself around that for a moment. So, in other words, the sooner you cultivate a clear, reverent, integral, disciplined devotion to your spiritual practice, to communion with higher self, to really listening, the sooner, the quicker, that true calling, you embodying, you living, you experiencing the fullness, the expansion of that bubble expanding of your true calling, the sooner that was going to come to pass. So yes, there are 3D things to do. Make those lists, make those calls, get that headshot, whatever, get your new website up, whatever it is for you in 3D. Yet, spiritual growth, God phone, divine higher self itself is reminding us that what is at the foundation of you reaching those goals? Because it's one thing to reach those goals, but who are you along the way? Are you coveting? Are you holding? If it's that goal, then you're still not happy. You need more. You need more. Well, we're nourishing. We're learning to feed ourselves, nourish and nurture, fortify ourselves now, to be grateful and to bless everything for what it is right now. To be still, to be silent, to commune with love, with higher self now. And so be shown the way, be given the way. To not have to struggle, to not have to really do anything at all to make anything happen. But as always, to create the correct conditions within ourselves, vibrationally, that the universe, that truth, that love can't help but match us there. And so it is added unto us. It's fierce. I'm beginning to live this. I wrote a book last year called How to Manifest with the Law of Vibration. And you know, sometimes the books come and I'm still learning the lessons. But the book is there and I'm like, oh, I'm doing the book. Right? Baby masters. We're still all learning. So let's keep going. Some people enjoy telling stories of how hard something was for them, as if their struggle was an accomplishment. How much more fun would it be to trade stories about how easily things come? See, this is where we're going. You do not have to work hard day and night, feel exhausted, or surmount incredible odds and obstacles to have worthwhile achievements and grow spiritually. It can be easy. Some of you worry, but here we go, as it gets easy. Some of you worry when things get too easy. As you increase your vibration, though, things will get easier. The challenge lies not in how hard things are, but in how expansive you can make your vision, your bubble, your vision of self, filling in, growing exponentially into your calling, and how much can be accomplished with economy of energy, joy, and creative intent. Economy of energy. So again, we're not pushing, we're not forcing, we are allowing. When we create the correct conditions within ourselves, when we really listen and act on that true, pure desire, all that happens is universe is given the right of way to meet us there, to bridge the gaps, to create synchronicity, to create miracles, to create happenstance, whereby we live in flow. We experience flow in every single day, not just like, wow, this was a really good day. Can you imagine that day that you have where you say, this is a really amazing day, so many good things happened? That can be your everyday. It is your inheritance. Going on, you can grow instantaneously. Spiritual growth does not have to be a step-by-step process. It can be instantaneous. And I made a side note here. This is interesting. It says spiritual growth equals more self-love, equals less self with the small s, equals more love, equals all good / love, rising up to meet the true you. In essence, love plus love equals love. There is an instantaneous shift that can occur, again, to the degree, right? You clear out those bags before you get on that jumbo jet taking you into 2019. And you do the work, right? We do the work, but we're not doing the work saying like, well, good better come because I'm having to let go of this, and well, I'm letting go of that old thing. So that better mean that a new loving partner will come in. We don't do it from those paradigms. We do it because that's the work in front of us right now, and because in this moment we know it serves us, because we're seeing ourselves as a master, we're seeing ourselves in the true sight of our heart, and we are honoring what we are ready to release. And it's a very interesting balance because, yes, of course, there's true desire in your heart, your true calling in this next year of like, how can you grow into that? And while the work that we do with clearing the baggage absolutely has to do with creating the correct conditions to give rise for the beautiful expression of you to come to pass, we're not necessarily emptying our load for any end result. We're doing the work to do the work now because this is what a master does. And so as you lighten that load, though, what happens is you get on the plane and all of a sudden you land in that new destination. You're like, I thought it was going to take 17 hours to fly there. And universe is like, well, we've collapsed time and space. as a result of you letting go of all that heavy baggage. It would have taken longer to get here, and you would have had to have gone through some other lessons and other relationships and stuff and other work things to get here. But since you've made that honest healing possible in your life by blessing, forgiving, releasing those things that you know that you're ready to let go of, those cycles, those patterns within you, boop, it's taken away time. And here it is on a silver platter, the gift of you, more of you, in the light of love, meeting yourself. Now, isn't that fucking amazing? It's true. I'm living it. It happens. It's real. It's true. If you're watching this, a part of you knows it is. So let's keep going. Spiritual growth is learning to make your life work in every area, from your relationships to your career, as you put your spiritual light into everything you do. Bring awareness and love to all of your activities and turn every experience into an opportunity for growth. You are being your higher self. In the beginning, your spiritual growth may be something you focus on only occasionally. As you continue on your path, it will become an increasingly important part of your life. You will begin to turn everything you do into an opportunity to grow spiritually. Even your everyday activities, washing dishes, driving to work, or other routine things can provide you with an opportunity to grow. Can you be totally in the moment, focusing all of your attention on what you are doing? Can you observe your thoughts from a new, higher level and change them into even more positive, uplifting ones? That's what we were talking about earlier with checking yourself, right? What are you speaking over your reality, over your life? What are you thinking into your experience? Expand it into greater love. Give yourself more space. Let your bubble, that radius of light around you, open it up. Can you keep your mind on one thing at a time, or send out love through your heart to the people around you? Every single activity you do, no matter how mundane, presents the opportunity for you to do it in a higher state of consciousness. Everything you do presents you with the opportunity to be your higher self there. Are you meeting it? And again, the message here, your true calling in 2019, living that. And the message we're sharing here today is not just living it in the 3D. It's embodying that vibration of your higher self and being your higher self, bridging the gap, being in the world, not of it, embodying that, living it, and being the experience of your goals, of your aspirations, of your plans. It's okay to do all that stuff, right? But we know not to be attached to it. We let go, we let God, we let love, we let higher self guide the way. And miraculously, synchronistically, in ways that are beyond our imagination, more good is added unto us. Trust me. Trust me. It's true. Now let's see. Your energy centers change your personality more rapidly than working directly on your personality. It's an inside job. So that again speaks to this idea of doing the work spiritually, healing ourselves, meditating. I'm just such a big advocate for meditation every day to build your practice. I know many, many spiritual people, and you know how many of them do not meditate on a regular basis? Healers that are not meditating on a regular basis every day. Counselors. These are people that are spiritually attuned, but there is no meditation practice, and it's not wrong. There's just this invitation of how great it can be, how much more higher self can add to you in your divine circumstances, no matter whether you're a counselor, a teacher, a yoga teacher, or whatever, any walk of life that you're in. As you cultivate the ability to meditate, everything expands to include more of the truth of you, more of the truth of you that is the self with the capital S. Now there's just one more little area that the God phone wants us to read. The issues that come up for you are showing you the most important patterns to work on to accelerate your growth. So as you consider your true calling in 2019 and what you want to grow into being, as you let yourself get pumped up and expand your vision and get excited, sometimes we bump into an edge, a sharp edge, or our own fears, right? Our old pains, those old projections, those patterns, that X, whatever it could be, that old job where we're like, oh shit, it didn't work out then. Probably not going to work out now, or whatever the overarching pattern is. But what this book is saying here is that it's up to show you where you can do the work to accelerate your growth. So these things are here. They are our medicine. They invite us. They invite us to deepen our relationship, our awareness, and our connection with our true spiritual calling. Love and appreciate them for the gifts they offer. So again, I love this book. If you're guided, if you resonate, Spiritual Growth, Sonaya Roman. It's been my Bible. I mean, it was my Bible forever and ever and ever. And it still, is. It's a reference book to have it once you've read it 20 million times, to keep it on the shelf and dip in, open it up. In fact, if you're guided to buy that book, just open it up to any page. Ask your higher self to guide you. Very powerful. So we're going to be closing up here soon. And what I want to do is I want to invite you to subscribe to my website, TuesdayMayThomas.com. The link is down below. It's just my full name, TuesdayMayThomas.com. There's a page that you can subscribe to my monthly love letter. I send out an email only once a month at this point, so you're not going to get bombarded by me. But it has my blog and stuff about my books and my teachings. And every month I send out a worksheet or something that you can print out and do a little work with yourself. Sometimes it's a sheet of affirmations, or it's just different every month. And in this last month, in December, I sent out a worksheet called Live Now. And we're going to use that as the basis of our meditation practice this morning. But I do invite you, if you resonate with the teachings and the stuff that I share here at the channel, to go to my website link and just click subscribe. You will also receive a copy of my book, a little mini PDF version of the book. Soon it'll be on Amazon in a little printable version. But when you subscribe to my website, to my monthly love letter, you'll get a little book that I've written called The Higher Self Blueprint of Mastery, which ties in beautifully to all of the work we do here all the time, but especially today, talking about that higher self. So when you subscribe this month, you will receive my monthly love letter, and with it, this sheet that you can either print out and do the work in. And here's my writing. You can see I did my homework and I've been using it. Or you can write the questions out into your journal or play with them, meditate with them. You'll be guided. But this idea is, so let's think about 2019. I'm going to use this, and I'm going to use this for us and think about 2019. So we're just going to review some of these offerings and let the ideas wash over you, and then we'll sit in a meditation and go a little bit deeper. So take a breath in and out. What are the 3 most important things you will do, manifest, and create in this next year, in 2019? What are the 3 most important things you will do, manifest, or create in 2019? I took my glasses off, but now I need them to see. So they're going back on. How will you start being more disciplined, devoted, and committed to giving these 3 important things life and allowing them to happen? Right? So sometimes we have plans, or we have goals or aspirations, yet they just stay as a list in a notebook somewhere. And we know it's like the physical body. If we intend to get in shape, to exercise, to walk, to go to the gym, to eat maybe differently, slightly differently even, can change. Recently, I was singing with my BFF, and he's been singing every day for a year and learning the piano. And he's a singer, as I am from years ago, right? I kind of say was because I don't do it all the time. Sat with him singing some Christmas carols, and my God, this man's voice is outrageous. just beautiful, just like a rubber band. And I remember when my voice was like that, when I was singing constantly, and I could go high, I could go low, I could sing out, I could sing in, I could, but my voice is not in, doesn't have that range at this time because I don't use it in that same way for many years. But he's been singing every single day. So he's, he's all around there. And why am I telling you this? Oh, because then we were sitting sometime after and we had recorded some of it and we were listening and I was going, oh my God. Like, I see where I can start to practice more if that's something that I want to do. But it was very obvious where I was like, oh yeah, I could really use some practice and some brushing up. And of course he was full of grace about it. Yet all he did was he said, well, you know what it takes, like everything else in life, is to do it, to just do it every day. And I have to tell you, when he said that, I realized that many, many years ago, how many years ago? Over 10, well, it was in 2000, so almost 20 years ago, when I realized that I was an author, like I really realized that I was a writer and that my job here, like I realized my calling, my pure calling, an aspect of it is to be an author, is to be a scribe, is to write. And then for, years, long years, I was like, oh yeah, I'm a writer, that's my calling. I'm a writer. And of course I have to do the hair flick, right? To just add a little zhuzh. But I knew what it was. Yet I knew the 4D truth, but my 3D self was like, how the do I do that? I don't know. I'm just going to start talking about it. People are like, what do you do? I'm like, I'm a writer. I hadn't written anything except my journals. No, I did blog. Back in the day, I was doing Zanga blogs. So I was doing something, but I wasn't, in my mind, the way this romantic like notion of being a writer, I was not doing that. I wasn't being that. But what it took is that over many, many years and I never had time. I used to work a 9 to 5. I used to all this stuff. So I didn't have time and I wanted to be like this, just write so I could be this romantic author and be in the woods and writing for hours and all this stuff with my wine and the cat, this whole dream. And what I had recognized is over the years is I would sit and I'd meditate and I'd be frustrated. And I'd be like, higher self, why am I not being more productive? I feel like I'm meditating and I'd be all angry. And I'd be like, why am I not like being productive? I'm a writer. Where's the writing? And higher self's just like, why aren't you sitting down and writing? And I was like, what? And they're like, that's all it takes. Start doing more and you will have more time to do it. And I was like, mind blown. And it divinely syncs up with what my BFF was saying the other day with the singing. Like anything in our lives, though, whether it's working out, creating a healing, whatever it is, you get to be disciplined, devoted, and committed to that. And it was little by little then. And I had resistance and I had fears, but that's the work, all the stuff that you get to break through. But little by little, my life has changed over this last 20 years, where now I have more time. I don't work a 9 to 5 anymore. There's more time and space. I've written 2 books and I have a handful of books that are also on the back burner. I've actually written more than that. And that's just it though, because I've been writing, I've been sitting, and like my friend, sitting at the piano, singing and singing and singing, and there's the results. And I've been writing and writing and writing, and now I have like these 3D things, but it's not just to have the things, it's to embody the true desire, the pure calling. And now that these books are manifesting, now these entities that are books are saying, okay, now here's what you get to do with us. And they're taking me on this next part of the journey, which is me growing into more of myself in 2019. And it's so exciting. And so with that, the advice, the invitation is, if there's something that you want to do that you feel you don't have enough time to do, you just have to start making time to do it, because time doesn't exist. You have to suck it up. And be a master of your time and space. Create the correct conditions through your tongue. If you always say there isn't enough time, well, honey, that's exactly what you're going to experience and what you're going to get. Right? And it's these are these little fractals of how we get to catch ourselves and check ourselves. What am I creating? What foundation am I putting down for myself to have the life experience? And does it serve my true calling? Does it serve my calling in 2019? Is what I am saying about my life and myself helping to create the correct stepping stones that I would enter the domain of mastery, of expansion, of what I know my calling is in this next year. And always, right, just like letting go of those things from the baggage before we check on to that beautiful flight. What are the qualities that have been blocked? And what are we ready to let go of from that carry-on luggage? So let's end our session here now with a little meditation. I'm going to invite you to take a moment to close the eyes. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Now you are already connected to your higher self through that little exercise we did earlier. And again, we're going to use this worksheet as a premise to sit into this vibrationally, because we understand and we are learning that with the greater clarity that which we can vibrate as our truth, as the pure desire and calling we have within ourselves, the less clouded that truth, that light is, the less encumbered and held back it is, the greater the universe's ability to meet us, to match us vibrationally is. So dropping in and connecting with your higher self, not your mind, but with the truth of your heart, with the voice of love, higher self. Ask your higher self, what are the 3 most important things that I will do, manifest, and create in 2019? What are the 3 most important things I will do, manifest, and create in 2019? And just practice listening. Practice listening. Sometimes we listen through visions, through feelings, or we literally hear the word of love. What are the 3 most important things you will do, manifest, and create in 2019? Don't try to think about it or figure it out. Allow yourself to be shown by love, by your higher self. Relax into it. Allow. And even if there's only one thing that comes, that's just fine. So with that awareness of what you will do, manifest, and create in 2019, next, ask your higher self, how can I start being more disciplined, devoted, and committed to giving these things life and allowing them to happen? How can I start being more disciplined, higher self, more devoted and committed to giving these things I want to do, manifest, and create in 2019? How can I give them life? How can I allow them to happen? Ask your higher self. Relax and allow yourself to listen, to receive divine guidance now. What are you doing? Where are you? Who's with you? Again, what are the 3 most important things you will do, manifest, and create in 2019? And higher self, How can I start being more disciplined, devoted, and committed to giving these things, to giving that thing, that goal, life, and allowing them to happen? Higher self, what are the most important things I will do, manifest, and create in 2019? And higher self, how can I start being more disciplined, devoted, and committed to giving them life and allowing them to happen? And now take a moment to step back and imagine yourself that you're going to get on this big, beautiful jumbo jet that's ready to take you to these new shores of self, to this beautiful destinations where the expanded version of you that is not complicated, that is love and only love, that trusts the pure desire in its heart, that is willing to show up and do the work that it takes to create the correct conditions for that version of self to come manifest in this 3D reality. Before you get on this plane, look around energetically at this baggage, at your luggage that you will be carrying with you into 2019. Look at the people that you might be carrying, that you might be wanting to take with you into 2019. Do they serve you really and truly? Do they serve the manifestation and creation of your most important aspects, these things you truly, with pure desire, know are yours and seek to manifest in 2019? Is there an addiction, a habit, a pattern, a person, a place, an old letter, or whatever it is? Take a moment and imagine there's a huge trash bin that as you empty these things from your baggage, from your luggage, look through your bags. Take a moment here in this meditation. Look through your stuff. Who's in there? What's in there? Place them in this bin, or if it's a person, you can say thank you. And I now release you in love and in light, and see them walking away out of that airport, out of that terminal, out of wherever you see yourself in. And if it's a thing, place it in the bin, in the trash bin, and know that the moment you place it in, it becomes dissolved and zeroed out into perfect love and perfect light. So take a moment to go through your bags, lighten your load. What are you ready to release now? So what 3 qualities that have been blocking you and your energy do you now release and let go of? Is it a person, a place, a thing, a pattern, relationship? Do your work now. Listen to the guidance of your higher self as you do. And now, repacking, re-zipping your bags, your luggage, your suitcase, your carry-on, whatever it might be. Imagine yourself checking those items in and being met by a very friendly individual who is very helpful, checking you in. See those items on that little black runway, just being checked in and going in to be organized onto your beautiful jumbo jet that's ready to take you to these new horizons, these new expanded experiences of self. And see yourself just going from A to B, just like that. All of a sudden, you're checking in, you're getting on that plane. No long lines, no hassle, no nothing. You're just there, you are, you're boarding, you have your little carry-on, and you're boarding the plane. You put your seatbelt on, you relax, and you say thank you. See yourself, hear yourself, say it out loud right now, thank you. And you trust with all your heart that where this plane is taking you is in perfect alignment with the direct compass of your soul, of your truth. And you let go of being the pilot. And you give the right of way to love, that it may lead your life in perfect harmony, happiness, health, grace, passion, beauty, and synchronicity for yourself and all. So let that plane take off. And we know not yet where it lands. We're going to let that plane take off. We're going to feel ourselves taking off. And here we are in flight. And it is at this place that we are in flight that we will allow ourselves to be with that feeling of not knowing exactly where it is we will land, yet knowing that it will be perfect, trusting that as long as we are true to our higher self, we are doing our work, we are checking in with ourselves, we are being honest, authentic, integral to our truth, to our spiritual growth, that what is beyond our imagination is awaiting us at our destined arrival points, at the points that are divinely appointed, with new people, maybe people we already know, new places and faces, spaces and experiences, and so it is. So allow yourself to be on that plane, a fractal, a part of yourself in that experience, and at the same time bring your awareness back to the body that you are, where you are sitting, listening to this show. Take a nice deep breath in and a deep breath out, and say thank you to your higher self. Take your moment to slowly open the eyes and bring awareness back to this space. Thank you so much for sharing that experience. I love this community. Hi, Will. Thank you for hopping on. I'm so very grateful for this community. As you know, and if you don't, next week, December 27th, I will be facilitating another 4D Trinity where we bridge the 3D with the 4D, where we will be having an Ask Me Anything Q&A, anything at all. Now you can hop on and ask in the comments, or you can send me an email. My email is down below. You can send me an email in preparation, and I can prep some downloads and some wisdom. I channel the higher self, your higher self, for the highest good. And remember, all of the offerings I share here are spiritual, multidimensional, mystical. We'll be bridging our 3D concerns with a 4D level of awareness, always rooted in love. So I'm so happy to serve. I bless this community. Thank you, all of the new subscribers. If you appreciate this show, give me a thumbs up. I really, really appreciate it. Leave a comment. All of those things help the algorithm of my station, of this channel, to start to bump up and rub elbows with other channels that have more traffic, where there's these messages can be seen by more and more people. And as always, sign up at my monthly, sign up at my website for my monthly love letter. And you'll receive this little worksheet, right, that has its basis in the meditation we did today. Although this speaks in the variation of not just 2019, but in those things that we wish to manifest and create for our lifetime. And again, every month there's a little something, a little extra treat there for you, for all of my subscribers at my website. Follow me at Instagram. I have books. All my books are down below. I love and appreciate this beautiful community so very much. So thank you so much, everyone, for checking in and being a part of 4D Trinity and of all my videos. I am Tuesday May Thomas, and I wish you, if you celebrate these holidays, I wish you a very lovely holiday time. If you don't celebrate, I still wish you a fabulous, lovely, beautiful week ahead, and I'll see you next week for our Q&A, Ask Me Anything 4DT. Blessings and namaste with so much love, with so much love. Thank you so much, everyone. Blessed, beautiful day to you. Thank you. Thank you.